When you're in the state of flow, manifestation happens as a byproduct, okay? Because you are actually tapping into such an energy. You're energizing it, right? You're energizing. That's what manifestation is. My name is Sumit Chatterjee, founder of the Flow Zone Academy, author of TPM, founder of Primal Sutra. And today I wanted to speak a little bit about this idea of manifestation because it's grossly misunderstood. Matter is just condensed energy. And I love what Frank White has to say about this in terms of manifestation. If you energize something, it will manifest. Like this glove, let's just say someone had an idea of this glove in their mind, but then they had to actually, find the material, the leather, whatever it was, right? Stitch it together. They used energy in the physical world to bring this into its beingness. So when we do a manifestation ritual or something like this, you got to understand you're giving it your perception. And when you give it your time, your energy, your perception, your space, what you're doing is the perception is tuning into the probability of it occurring. And from there, now it becomes easier to actually form into something in the physical world. Also, another thing that Frank discussed is why is older better, right? Why is this idea of old is better in terms of like we follow tradition? Like as I grow older, I find myself being more traditional. But in what sense? Okay, are you trapped by your dogma or your cultural conditioning or your traditions so much so that you're looking up all of these old Dale Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, Ernest Nightingale? Are you looking up all these old school cats trying to learn the future or the evolution of manifestation? You can't. You gotta be a pioneer in this thing. You gotta test things out and be a bit of a mystic mad scientist with manifestation. I mean, where are the Neville Goddards of this current age? I'm not seeing them. Okay? Everybody just wants to be like a fluffy light worker or something like that. They're not really crystallizing and manifesting it and going beyond their intentions. Shout out to Dan Manjana, who's a great manifestation coach, I would say. The thing about it is that the key difference is look at their results, look at their life. Is their life a pure demonstration of their art form of manifesting? Okay? And we can tell. We can smell through the BS of some of these people saying, the reason why the law of attraction isn't working for you is because you're doing this, and this wrong. Okay, well, you're reminding me of what I'm doing wrong. What about what I'm doing right? Okay, where are the green flags? We're looking at the red flags. Where are the green flags at? Okay, what are you doing right in terms of manifesting? You're feeling through it. You're energizing it. You have a beginning, a middle, and end to a ritual, just like you have a beginning, a middle, and end to your life, right? There's a process. There's a protocol. And it helps to have some form of guidance from someone who already does this or knows about it or has done it before, right? We have these very interesting wealth rituals, right, that we do. If you want to learn more about that, shoot me a message. But basically, throughout this time, when I've noticed that I've spent so much money in Bali that I didn't even know I had money for, right? It just came in. Like my dad just sent me a huge sum of money while I was there. And, it was just out of the blue, completely out of the blue. Like I did not expect that, right? But it just manifested just when I needed it. Now, what about those moments like that, right? Where you get these bursts of insight or like these clairvoyant, claircognitive strategies that the world is giving you? Like, what do you do when you tap into those frequencies and that energy? I would say simplify these rituals, okay? Stop trying to overcomplicate it. Stop trying to go for the trendy topics of Tesla numbers. Yes, those are valid, for sure. But you're digging yourself into a weird concoction of spirituality that has everything in it rather than actually being optimal, being efficient, being a peak performer with this thing. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the most simplest, most effective way, the most pragmatic way. But let's say you want to bring more luck in your life. You need to fill your consciousness with luck symbolism. Change your phone background. Change the desktop background. Change the different things that you see in your altar or in your, the idols that represent luck for you. Maybe you have a horseshoe somewhere. Maybe you have a four-leaf clover. Maybe you have all these different pantheons that have different symbols for luck around that luck architecture and that luck framework, okay? Now that is creating more probability or things to be, let's say, easier, smoother, or manifest, or get more accurate towards your luck. What about unlucky symbols? Now, it's all about the power of perception, remember, the power of perspective. So I could look at a number like 13, for instance, right? And I can understand that 3 plus 1 is 4, which is my life path number. And I've made that interpretation in my mind, so it's not an unlucky number for me anymore. Boom, it's gone. But you are the decider. That's what the magician is. You're the conductor of this orchestra. So you're allowed to add an interpretation to some event that isn't serving you in your wealth actualization, right? You're allowed to interpret the storyline differently than to how it actually is. It doesn't matter if it's a true belief or an untrue belief. Is it an effective belief? Is it a belief that is going to get you towards the path working where you finally get to that end point, that pinnacle, right? The goal that you've set out for yourself. And hey, you can still score if there's a goalie, right? You can still score if there's a goalie. So understand that when people are trying to stop you, doesn't necessarily mean you stop playing football or soccer. It just means that you need more skills in this game. See what I'm saying? You need to improve the challenge skills ratio in the flow state, right? I think a lot of times what blocks manifestation is doubt, okay? Doubt creeps in, like a small seed of doubt creeps in, and that can blossom over time into big doubt, okay? A suspiciousness, sus as we call it. Yo, that's kind of sus, right? That feeling of this kind of sus is not going to help you manifest. For manifestation to occur, you need 100% belief in this thing coming true. And that's why the law of assumption overrides the law of attraction at times, when you're assuming that it's already there, right? It's like you could take it to a ridiculous extent where you're like, yeah, I'm just going to go have some lunch with my girlfriend, right? And it's an invisible girlfriend, right? Let's just say, as an example, right? Maybe you've done this before, but then the week later, you find yourself manifesting a girl in your life. You're like, what? Because you've already accepted that reality. It's a part of your framework. Part of your framework and path work at the same time, right? The frame becomes the path. The path becomes the frame. So they interchangeably, they're not mutually exclusive, they're one. They're gonna work together. So how you perceive the reality that you have, if you think you're a loser and a piece of shit, guess what? Your reality will reflect that. It's like when clients come to me and they say, oh, I have bad memory. I say, no, it's just untrained memory, right? You just haven't trained your memory enough to the point where it becomes second nature to you, flow state to you, right? So you gotta make the things that you want more second nature to you. I mean, that's the whole protocol, path work. You gotta make it more natural. You gotta make it more organic. You can't add this clunkiness, like what we say in our path working of Primal Sutra. We say it's like staccato, which is clunky, to legato, which is smooth. In music, if you're a musician listening, you understand those terms, right? You go, yeah. It's like, I will go to the park. I'll go to the park. There's a very big difference, right, between these two energies. So that's what you got to understand. I got to get going right now, so I'll hit you guys up later. If you need my help, reach out. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it to the upward spiral.